All right, welcome back to At the Buzzer. Today we're going to be ranking our top 10 centers in the NBA. We're going to dive right on in. So at number 10, I have DeAndre Ayton of the Phoenix Suns. Past season, he was a rookie and he averaged 16 points, 10 rebounds. And he's currently only 21 years old. He was third in Rookie of the Year voting, and I definitely see him improve.
I went with Miles Turner of the Indiana Pacers. He's one of the better inside defenders in the league, and he's a very good shot blocker. He's also added his offensive repertoire, as he's a decent three-point shooter now, and he's had a couple of 20-point games to start the year.
And number 9 is where I have Al Horford. Even though he's playing power forward currently for the Philadelphia 76ers, I base this off Basketball Reference, what they played last season, and last season he averaged about 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. His impact on the defensive end of the court is why I put him ahead of DeAndre Ayton.
Okay, going at number 9, I put DeAndre Ayton. Disclaimer real quick, I don't have guys like Al Horford for my centers because I put him in power forward, and same with Marcus Aldridge and Anthony Davis, so that's just a quick thing. DeAndre Ayton has been suspended, so it'll be interesting to see how he comes back and plays after the suspension.
At number 8, I have LaMarcus Aldridge of the San Antonio Spurs. He's a super efficient player. He's a super efficient player. I believe he made one of the all-decade teams, and he's super efficient, averaging about 21 points and 9 rebounds per game.
Number 8, I went with Steven Adams of the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think he's one of the better defenders at the center position in the league. He's a very good rebounder and a very good guy to have on your team. He's added to his game over the years, and it'll be interesting to see how he plays in Oklahoma City for possibly the rest of this year, or if he gets traded, it'll be interesting to see how he plays on another team. But I'm hoping to see him become a little bit of a better scorer with Russell Westbrook gone, but we'll see.
I'm not sure if Steven Adams is a top 10 center. At number 7, I have Nikola Vucevic of the Orlando Magic. He was an all-star this past season, averaging about 21 points, 12 rebounds. A lot of his advanced defensive statistics are pretty high up, but the eye test wouldn't necessarily say he's an elite defender, but he's definitely a solid defender. And if you'd like to know more about Nikola Vucevic, then you can listen to our first episode where we interviewed John Hammond, the general manager of the Orlando Magic.
Okay, I went with of the Charlotte Hornets. Just kidding. I wouldn't go with Cody Zeller in the top 10. But shout out Cody Zeller. He has had a very good year and has been showing his athleticism with some monster slams. But anyways, back to the list. I went with Clint Capella of the Houston Rockets.
Cody Zeller!
No, I went with Clint Capella of the Houston Rockets. He's one of the better rim runners in the league. He receives a lot of alley-oops from James Harden, and I believe, if I remember right, last year the most efficient play in basketball was James Harden's alley-oop to Clint Capella. I'm pretty sure. Don't at me if I'm wrong, but I'm positive. I'm hoping to see him evolve his game and maybe even add in a three-point shot at some point, but we'll see. I don't know if that's in his plans, but he's a very athletic center, and it'll be interesting to see how he finishes the year with the Rockets and if they could potentially make it to the Western Conference Finals.
Capella! At number 6 is where I have Andre Drummond. Number 6 is where I have Andre Drummond of the Detroit Pistons. He's one of the best rebounders we've ever seen, but the only reason I have him below some of the other players is because the players above him either have back-to-back Defensive Player of the Years or post moves. So,
all right, I went with Nikola Vucevic, the all-star from the Orlando Magic. He had a very good game against the New York Knicks the other night. I believe he scored 23 points and had between 11 to 14 rebounds. He's a very solid player on the inside. He's got some really good post moves, and he's a good finisher, but he can also stretch it outside and hit threes. I think he's probably, as of right now, the best player on the Orlando Magic. So I'd like to see him return to the All-Star game, and if he can continue improving on his game as he has in the years past.
Number 5, I have Rudy Gobert of the Utah Jazz. He's a back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year, and averages about 16 points and 13 rebounds. His impact on the defensive end of the court, even though, like, if you watch the game, you'll see that he does more than just get blocks. Like, players will stay out of his paint. They won't try to, or like he'll alter so many players' shots when they drive into the lane. And I feel as though that's something that doesn't show up in the box score, but is definitely a huge impact.
Okay, at number 5, I went with Rudy Gobert. He goes hard in the paint on defense. He gets a lot of blocks. He's one of the better defenders in the league, as he's won 2 Defensive Player of the Years. He probably should have been an All-Star last year, but he's in a stacked Western Conference as far as players go, so I can't blame him too much for not making it. However, I would like to see him get what he deserves and make the All-Star team this year. Just, if he don't, I don't want to see him cry again, because that was just awkward. But anyways, I think he's one of the better and more underrated players in the league. Is not just his defense, he's a very good finisher, and I believe he had one of the better field goal percentages in the league last year, if not the best. So with Mike Conley now, I think he'll even get better on the offensive side of the ball, and I think he'll continue to play the great defense he has his whole career.
At number 4, I have Karl Anthony Towns of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Last year, he averaged about 24 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 assists. He obviously had the drama with Jimmy Butler, but going into this season, the first couple games of this season, he's looked like definitely one of the best players in the league. And I believe the Minnesota Timberwolves are undefeated as we record this episode.
Number 4, I went with Andre Drummond of the Detroit Pistons. I believe he's the best rebounder in the league, and I think he could still improve as an offensive player. There's a lot of room for improvement. He started shooting threes a little bit, but he's not that good of a three-point shooter yet. Hopefully he can get there someday. He's a solid passer for a center, and I like how he plays with Blake Griffin, but I would like to see him actually get a post move at some point in his career instead of just doing a drop step bad hook shot, as he has no touch on his hook. But it'll be interesting to see, as he's been working with Kevin Garnett on his post skills over the last few years, to see how he improves, as he's still only, I believe, 26 years old. And the other day, he became the youngest player to reach 7,500 rebounds. So when it's all said and done, he can be towards the top as far as rebounds go.
Number 3 is I have Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets. Last year, he averaged about 20 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. He's definitely one of the best passing big men we've ever seen. The Denver Nuggets were the 2 seed in the Western Conference last year. It should definitely be a very good team for the seasons to come.
Okay, I went with Karl Anthony Towns. You already had him. He was going hard in the paint the other night against Joel Embiid. He got into the first fight of his career, I believe. I was happy to see him stand up for himself and not take some shoves. I would have liked to have seen him connect on that punch, but that's a story for another time. He's been one of the better players in the league this year, and I believe, don't quote me, but I believe he leads the league in three-pointers made per game, as he's making about 4 per game, I believe. And he's rebounding at an extremely good high rate. He's averaging 2.5 steals so far, and his three-point percentage is at 53%. So with how many he takes for his position, he's hitting a lot. So he's really improving his game as the years go by, and I think he's one of the better scorers in the league. And I honestly believe if the Minnesota Timberwolves can be a playoff team, that he will be in the MVP discussion when the season is over.
And number 2, I have Joel Embiid of the Philadelphia 76ers. He goes super hard in the paint, averaging 28 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists. He's a very good defender and just one of the best young centers in the NBA, I believe.
Okay, number 2, I went with Nikola freaking Jokic. He's my boy Ian Nelson's favorite player. One of the better passers we've ever seen from the center position, although I've heard a lot of people say that Domantas Sabonis' father is the best passer at the center position, but that's a debate for another time that we may have on this show, but we'll see.
So number 1, disclaimer before I say number 1, I have him as a center because I based it off Basketball Reference, so me and Christian do not have the same number 1, but at number 1 I have Anthony Davis of the Los Angeles Lakers. Last year he averaged about 26 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists and 2.5 blocks. Obviously, there were many games last season where he did not play or was on a minutes restriction, so still to be able to do what he does is super impressive. And he had a 40-point, 20 rebound the other night for the Los Angeles Lakers. He's one of the best defenders in the league and one of the best offensive players in the league.
All right, so number one, I went with Joel Embiid. I believe he's very good offensively and he's very good defensively. I have him over Towns because I think his defense and Towns' defense aren't really that close, at least yet. I think Towns can get there by the time his career is over. I think Towns is a better offensive player, but Embiid is the better defender, and that puts him over Towns in my opinion. I'd like to see him play in more games, as he does not really play in as many, but this year that could change. Who knows? After that 2-game suspension, maybe that can take up for a load management game. Who knows? But he's one of the better scorers, and he's really added to his game as the years goes on. I'd like to see him shoot less threes and just focus on going hard in the paint and beating guys up, but we'll see.
All right, well, thank you for tuning in to our top 10 centers in the NBA. You can check out our previous episodes if you want to see where we ranked other positions in the NBA, and hope you have a good day.